araw po muli mga kamatalino at kamatyaga. So matapos nga po nating malaman kung ano po yung tinatawag nating truth values of proposition, samahan nyo naman po ako upang atin pong i-explore ang tinatawag nating tautology, contradiction, and contingency. So ano-ano po ulit yung ating possible outcomes? Okay po? So it's either po na yung ating dalawang statement ay parehas na true, or yung first statement is true but the second statement is false. The first statement is false, the second statement is true, or both statements are false. Okay? Now, if P, then Q. Okay? So again, kailan po ba lang nagiging false ang ating if-then statement? So it is false only if the first statement is false and the second the first statement is true and the second statement is false. Okay? So we have if true, then that is true. If true, then false is false. If false, then true, then true. And if false, then false, that is true. Okay? Next, kunin po muna natin yung negation ng ating P. Okay? So, negation of P. So, if the statement is true, the negation is false. And if the statement is false, the negation is true. Okay? Now, next, we have not P or Q. Okay? Not P or Q. So, ang titingnan po natin is not P or Q. Okay? So, we have false or true, that is true. False or false, that is false. True or true is also true. And then true or false is true. Bakit po? Because in our or statement, it is true if we have at least one true. Okay? Now, let's proceed po sa ating whole symbol. Okay? So, ano po yung ating kabuang symbols? We have if P, then Q, only if, not P or Q. Okay? So, saan tayo titingin? Dito po sa ating third column and fifth column. Okay? So, kailan naman po magiging true at kailan magiging false ang ating only if or if and only if statement? Kapag ito po ay true kapag both statements are true and both statements are false. Okay? Now, true, only if true is true. False, only if false is also true. True, only if true is true. And true, only if true is true. Okay? So, this truth table for this proposition shows that it is always true. So, ngayon po, makikita natin dyan that it is always true. Yan po ang tinatawag nating tautology. Okay? Tingnan po natin sa last column ng ating truth table. Alright? So, now, let's proceed sa ating pangalawang example or sa ating the second. Alright. So, let's have this. Second truth value. So, we have here the contradiction. Okay? So, ano po yung tinatawag nating contradiction? A contradiction is a proposition that is always false, regardless of the truth values of its individual components. Okay? So, meron po tayong symbol. Ayan, because symbolically, a contradiction is represented by statements that evaluates to false, no? Kahit ano pa yung possible combination ng truth values ng bawat variables. Okay? So, meron tayo ditong example na Q and it is not true that if P, then Q. Okay? Q and it is not true or it's not the case that if P, then Q. Alright? So again, dahil tayo ay merong dalawang statement, so 2 raised to 2 is 4, we have 4 possible outcomes. Okay? It's either that both statements are true. The first statement is true, but the second is false. The first statement is false and the second is true, or both statements are true. Alright? So now let's proceed to our if-then statement. Okay? So ito na yung Q, nakuha na natin. Tingnan naman natin yung if P, then Q. Okay? So how is that? Okay? So, again, if-then statement is false only if the first statement is true and the second statement is false. Okay, so let's have this. If true, then true is true. If true, then false is false. If false, then true is true. And if false, then false is also true. Okay? Now, kunin naman po natin ang negation ng ating if P, then Q. Okay? So again sa negation, if the statement is true, then the negation is false. Okay? So the negation of true is false. Negation of false is true. And the negation of true is false. Also, negation of true is false. Okay? Next, we have Q and not P and it is not true if P, then Q. Okay? So, ang titignan po natin ay yung ating second column at yung ating fourth column. Okay? At ang ating pong symbol ay end statement. So, sa end statement po, true lang po ito kapag both statements are true. Okay? So, let's see. True and false, this is false. False and true is also false. True and false is false. False and false is also false. Okay? So, makikita po natin na itong truth table na to for this given proposition shows that it is always false. Okay? At yan po ang tinatawag nating contradiction. Alright? Now, for our last example, alright, so that is contingency. So, a contingency is a proposition that is neither a tautology nor a contradiction. Okay? Its truth value depends on the specific values assigned to its variable. Okay? So, for example, this one, okay? Symbolically, a contradiction represented by a statement that evaluates to false for every possible combination of our truth values. Okay? But its truth value, nakadepende siya sa specific truth values na naka-assign sa ating P and Q. Okay? So, if either P or Q or both is true, then the entire proposition is true. Alright? Tingnan na po natin ang ating truth table. So, we have same statement sa number 1 and number 2. Meron tayong dalawang statement. So, we have only 4 possible outcomes. Okay? Again, it's either both statements are true. The first statement is true and second is false. First statement is false and second is true. Or both statements are true. Okay? So, for the if-then statement, it is only false if the first statement is true and second is false. So, here, if true, then true is true. If true, then false is false. If false, then true is true. And if false, then false is true. Okay? So, ngayon naman po, if Q, then P, nauna naman po yung ating Q. Okay? So, paano natin titingnan? Ayan, if true, then true is true. If false, then true is true. If true, then false is false. And if false, then false is true. Right? Now, if P, then Q, ang ating pong kabuuang simbolo. If P, then Q, only if Q, then P. Okay? So, we have here true, only if true is true. So, once again, sa if and only if or only if, true po yan kapag magkaparehas na true at magkaparehas na false. Okay? So, false only if true is false, or true only if false is false, true only if true is true. Okay? So, makikita po natin dito sa table na to, no? Na magkaiba yung ating result. Pwedeng false, pwedeng true. Okay? So, again, nakadepende po ito sa specific truth values na naka-assign sa ating P and Q. Or, pwede pong kapag ang ating P or Q or both ay true, then the entire proposition is true. Okay? So, that's it. I hope naintindihan natin yung pagkakaiba ng tautology, contradiction, ng contingency. Ayan. So, again, yan po, makita naman natin na meron tayong true at meron tayong false. Alright, so that's all. Once again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.